So Mark Cuban really stepped in it recently. So he was on a panel with Tucker Carlson and he was asked this question about whether or not we should be sending money to Ukraine. So let's just get into who Mark Cuban is. So if you're not familiar with him, he is the owner of the Dallas Mavericks and he is a very public figure. He's usually sitting courtside and he is also in the media a lot for various different takes that he has. So he has basically moved outside of the world of basketball and he kind of makes opinions or comments on other social causes and other political causes. Now, in terms of Mark Cuban, he is worth $6 billion because he does own the Dallas Mavericks, and I believe he is also into other business endeavors, but mainly I know him, and most people know him as the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. And why I think it is important to bring up that he is the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, because in other words, you can say that he makes his money off of other people's talent. He is not the one out there on the basketball court putting the ball through the hoop, dribbling, passing, and all of that stuff. He is just sitting there watching the game, making various comments, and making money off of the talents of other people. Now, I don't know how involved he is in terms of the team structure or the team roster, but I would imagine that with as vocal and as visible as he is, that he has a say in some of those conversations and the decisions that are made in regards to how the team functions and who is on the team. So let's go ahead and play the clip with that context in mind.
Let me ask you a question. What's your take on whether we should be sending money to Ukraine or not? Were you in favor of that?
Man, they need it.
I mean, honestly, I don't have a good answer. You know, I can make an argument both ways, and half my family is Ukrainian from my grandparents. And so, you know, personally, I think we should help. But I don't have a studied answer for you.
Okay, so let's pause it there. I want to call out that he says that he doesn't have a good answer and he isn't sure he can go either way. So he can either say, yes, we need to donate money, or no, we don't need to donate money. So I think it is important that he kind of initially gives off this energy of being unsure, of uncertainty. And in that case, if you are uncertain about what decision you make, you either usually don't give an opinion or you say what you think is the right thing to say in that situation. Let's continue playing.
How much money have you sent to Ukraine?
None.
Oh, so what do you mean by we? You're the one whose family's from Ukraine. Like, why don't you send them $1 billion?
Because I'm trying to fix healthcare.
Okay, so let me pause it there. So I really love that Tucker Carlson, he's unfiltered, and at least in my opinion, and he says, well, what do you mean by we? So obviously we means two things. We means other rich people, we should be donating to Ukraine because we have the money to do so, or we as in Americans. And I think it's interesting because just before I stopped it, he mentioned healthcare. He's trying to fix healthcare. Can you, as a billionaire, not do two things at once? And why does it have to be either or? Why can't you? Obviously, I think it's good that he's focusing on healthcare because he's focusing on American healthcare versus whatever is going on in Ukraine. So I do like that he's making that stance. So in other words, he should be able to, in my opinion, do two things at once because he has so much money.
Why don't you fix their health care if you're like so deep? If you think we need to help, why don't you start? How about you first? Yeah. I notice that's never like even an option for anybody. It's like, we need to help. That's not what charity is. Forcing other people to help is not charity.
Here's the good
vanity.
News. The good news is all the weapons were on loan lease. We're getting it back. And our dear President Trump.
Okay, so let's pause it here. So I know that I've been stopping this video a few times, but we do have the moment where Tucker Carlson asks him, like, hey, how much money have you given to Ukraine? And Mark Cuban says 0. So at this point, the question is, okay, you're telling us we should be giving money, and then you're saying that you yourself have not given any money. So this is a contradiction of sorts. And so I don't know if he's saying we should give money as in going forward, we should give money and I'll donate. Obviously, it sounds like he's not planning to donate because he just wants to focus on healthcare. And the other thing that is more obvious is that he's saying, you guys, the rest of you guys should donate your money while I keep my money and focus on the things that are important to me. If sending money to Ukraine is not important to him, as someone who is saying, hey, you know, half of my family is Ukrainian, then why should other people be invested in that cause if you are someone with a personal tie to that country and even you are not motivated in this moment to help Ukraine? You're saying that you're limited because you're focusing on something else. I think that that is a very revealing moment, and I'm glad that Tucker Carlson called this out instead of letting it slide, because the message of what Mark Cuban is saying here is that other people should give their money. I'm going to keep mine. I'm going to care about the causes that are important to me. You guys need to be told what to do with your money, and so you need to donate your money. You need to give your money away. I really like that Tucker is saying charity is not telling other people what to do with their money. Charity is when someone of their own free will chooses to donate to a cause because it is important to them. You shouldn't be federally or mandated by the government to do something out of charity. That is not charity at that point. And one other thing I want to touch on is because obviously Mark Cuban is a millionaire, a billionaire, all of that stuff, and he has so much money. So if he wanted to, he could donate a bunch of money to Ukraine without Americans as an entire country having to give money to Ukraine, right? So he can afford to do that. And so I think there's this interesting dynamic of celebrities wanting to draw attention to a cause, but then either not donating or donating so little money and expecting everybody else to foot the bill. So I remember there was a situation where Kylie Jenner maybe or somebody like that who is obviously worth millions, and they came out and said, hey, my friend went through X, Y, and Z, can you donate? And obviously that makes you pause and think about the situation because one, why are you asking for help on behalf of your friend? You're a millionaire. You could easily pay their bills and it wouldn't make a dent whatever is in your bank account, right? And so there's this idea of really rich people going to the rest of the American public and saying, hey, you need to help with this cause, it's important, open up your checkbooks, basically, when they can easily just foot the bill. And so there's this interesting dynamic of rich people wanting to keep their money but expecting everybody else to part with their money. And so yeah, I just wanted to come on and comment on that because that was really fascinating, and I'm really glad that Tucker did the right thing and called this out. Now, I'm not sure what other wealthy people are thinking about this situation because this brings in the conversation of old money and new money. So if you're someone with new money, you don't really know how to act when you have money, but if you have old money, there's kind of like this air about you and this kind of unspoken rule that you don't do tacky stuff as it relates to money. So a person who comes from old money, they would not be like, hey, you need to donate to this cause while I do nothing. They would easily just cover the cost because they understand the privileged position that they have, and they also understand how tacky it is to tell other people what to do with their money when you could easily take care of the issue with your own money. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on this issue with Mark Cuban and Tucker Carlson. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this clip and this issue. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.